Fast food workers in over 100 cities put down their spatulas and picked up picket signs today in a nationwide protest for better wages. The goal of the protest is to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, which would amount to $31,200 for a full-time employee before taxes. Now, that is just about $8,000 above the federal poverty line for a family of 4 at the moment. Right now, the minimum wage in the country is $7.25 an hour. In some states, that number is much higher, but so is the average cost of living. Here are the 8 states with the highest minimum wages. They range from $8 an hour in California and Massachusetts to $9.19 in Washington. And the home to Washington State's International Airport might be the testing grounds for the future of minimum wage. The city of SeaTac is the first in the country to approve a $15 minimum wage floor. Last month, voters passed the ballot measure that would give airport workers a pay raise of more than double the current federal minimum pay at the beginning of this next year. And President Obama is addressing the minimum wage in his speech yesterday. He said other cities might need to begin to follow suit.
We know that there are airport workers and fast food workers and nurse assistants and retail salespeople who work their tails off and are still living at or barely above poverty. And that's why it's well past the time to raise a minimum wage that in real terms right now is below where it was when Harry Truman was in office.
For more on the fast food protests, we turn now to RT correspondent Marina Portnaya.
What began 1 year ago here in New York City with just 200 employees has exploded into arguably the biggest wave of protest in the history of America's fast food industry. Thousands of fast food workers in more than 100 cities throughout the country have walked off the job Thursday, demanding a raise in minimum wage and the right to unionize without retaliation. Now, the organization spearheading this movement is called Fast Food Forward, and workers that are participating in this strike are employed at major chain restaurants, including McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and KFC. And while the fast food industry remains a $200 billion industry, the median wage for the service workers, like the cooks, the cashiers, the crew, the national median wage is just $8.94 an hour. Here in New York, many of the 50,000+ fast food workers earn even less, just $7.25 an hour. Now, because of the low wages, countless employees at fast food restaurants tell me they live in poverty, forced to rely on public assistance or go to food shelters to feed their family. Many other fast food workers are living in shelters because their salary can't cover the rent. Now, even worse is that this problem is expanding. Low-wage jobs have accounted for the bulk of the new jobs added in the so-called U.S. recovery, and retail and fast food are among the fastest growing economic sectors in the United States right now. Now, what these strikers are demanding is $15 per hour. And so far, only one city in Washington state has met those demands. As you could see, there is a significant police presence here on the scene monitoring this day of action. So far, everything has remained relatively calm. Now, in the meantime, companies like McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's have defended themselves, saying that the low-paid positions are just stepping stones to better positions. But reports reveal that managerial jobs make up just 2% of all jobs in the fast food industry. Now, these restaurants have also said that raising the minimum wage will increase costs and force some workers out of a job. But ironically, as you can see, the majority of these fast food workers have already walked off the job to fight for a basic living wage, a quality of life that the so-called American dream promises to all of its citizens. We should also mention that this movement has a lot of support behind it, lots of civil rights groups, community leaders, even New York City Mayor-elect Bill de Blasio has voiced his support for raising the minimum wage. As you can see, this is a huge movement in the United States taking place, a day of action. They're going from location to location, and we will be following them as they continue walking. Reporting from New York, Marina Portnaya, RT.